boy J. Lou, and you are just in time for something true. Alright, before we kick things off, did y'all miss your boy? I know it's been a minute since I dropped a video, and there's a main reason why. Now, with this video, I don't want to hold y'all up. The reason why y'all clicked on it, y'all want to know the reason why I left WTBD. If you're new to my channel and you don't know what that means, it simply stands for what that brush do. Now, if you are not familiar with the wave community, you wouldn't comprehend the concept of a wave team. But if you've been on the pages for a minute, and most of my subscribers, y'all been asking me to make this video since I originally made the truth about the wave game video. If you want to catch that, you can watch that bad boy. The reason why I'm making this video is because a lot of the stuff that I went through is still going on to this day. But the thing is, I was smart enough to say,
man, you know what? I'm not about to be a part of this stuff.
So maybe this video will help share some insight in regards to if you want to be a part of it. We'll also consider the good and the bad things that you need to consider when it comes to joining a team. And I'll also give my recommendation at the end if you should be on the team or not. I also wanted to separate this video from the reason why I left the wave pages, because I don't want people mixing the tones of the videos. This video will be a more chill tone, just stating what happened and everything of that nature. But the next video that's about to follow up is what you guys are used to. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, so if you are anything like myself, when I first came across wave content, I didn't know anything about a wave community. At the same time, I didn't know what the hell a wave team was. So in the back of my mind, I was always like,
okay, I've been a part of Facebook communities.
I'm still a part of a lot of different Facebook communities and things of that nature. Some people call them groups, whatever you want to call it. So I was like,
okay, maybe this is just a community, a brotherhood of sorts and things of the nature.
I was not aware before I joined these Facebook wave pages that there's a political structure behind it. And a lot of this structure came from wave teams. So when I first joined the wave pages, I didn't know what a wave team was. All I was focused on was getting dope waves as well as learning from other people and maybe sharing some stuff that I had to give. When I joined the page, when you post up, when you a newbie, most likely if your waves is killing or not, people don't show you no type of love, right? It's weird. I've been in so many different communities where I've seen that when you new, you get some kind of engagement or whatever cases. But with the wave community, if you are not a part of a team or whatever, or if you're not known or whatever, people, you can be having the best looking wave. There's people on their pages that have better looking waves than mine. They got people that have better looking waves than most of these other YouTube wavers, but they don't get no kind of shine and no kind of play unless they try to play the game, join a team, or whatever the case is, right? So when I first joined, it was different because back then I actually received a lot of support when I first started posting up. Now, I don't know the reason why, the exact reason, but internally I know wherever I go, people typically recognize what I do, right? It's just the energy that you carry with you. So fast forward, once you were posting up on the pages, people start reaching out. I had several people that was like,
hey yo, I don't know who you are. You're a new dude. Do you want to be a part of my wave team?
Now, if you don't know, everybody pitches the same thing. They may make it seem as if different wave teams move differently. They all move the same, right? So they will tell you something along the lines of,
if you join our team, we're like a family, we're like a brotherhood.
If it's only for women, they'll say
we're like a sisterhood, etc., etc.
But in my mind, I was like,
that's the whole point of me joining the page. Why do I need to join a team?
I'm always about, show me the reasons why, right? So they were telling me,
oh yeah, because if you need help and advice, you can get direct questions or whatever the case is.
And I was like, oh, that's dope. And at the same time, different teams have different ambitions, right? So some teams like to be low key, other teams like to be a lot more open. So when I made my decision, I was reached out by a member of WTBD, the person that actually created it at the time. His name was Wavy Crockett. I know a lot of you guys mention and bring him up. people that are new to my channel don't know that we used to be on the same wave team. He reached out to me about being under WTBD. So with that being said, moving forward, I joined WTBD under the premise that that's what it was. It was a family, it was a brotherhood, it was this community or whatever. It was like a secret group to where if I had questions or whatever, people could come access it directly there, right? So when I joined WTBD, one of the things that I was not aware of was the fact that there is this weird mindset on the pages to where if you join a team that somebody else doesn't like, you inherit all the wave beef or whatever you want to call it. So it's like on the Facebook wave pages, it's kind of structured like gangs. And when you think about it, it's really corny. But at the time of me first joining, I didn't know that's what it was. Like I told y'all in the Truth About the Wave Game video, when I first started came on the pages, I was cool with a lot of these people that I made videos about in the past. It wasn't until I joined WTBD that these other people start doing a whole bunch of slick stuff, right? We start getting a lot of hate out of nowhere. And the person that I'm a loyal person, right? So if you're talking about WTBD and I'm on WTBD, you're talking about me. So the people that's watching this video, if you on WTBD, I don't want y'all to feel that same type of way, because whenever it started, it was only a few of us. It was like maybe 5, 7 of us, right? So when you talk about WTBD, specifically, you're talking about those members. Nowadays, I don't know how many people in WTBD, but the reality is when we first started, we got a lot of hate from a lot of the OGs and stuff like that.
Man, who these people think they are, da 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 da.
And one of the reasons why was because when we came into the scene, Hurricane, Wavy Crockett, and myself all had YouTube channels. So when I first started my YouTube channel, I was nowhere close to where they were subscriber-wise, right? When Miz joined the team, he is the creator of HD Waves. So when you have 3 influencers, a product maker, and then we start having other people, I started recruiting people of different hair textures to represent the group. Of course, people are going to feel some type of way if they've been in a certain position, and it's like, the weird thing is people desire to be in these groups. I've never desired to be in a group. People have always come to me,
hey man, we would love for you to be a part of this team, this group, or whatever the case is, da 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 da.
WTBD was the only team that I was ever a part of. And honestly, looking back, I regret it. The only reason why I say that is because, like the point that I brought up, there is a lot of unnecessary wave beef that I inherited simply because at the time that I joined, PB and Wavy Crockett had some issues going on, right? And moving on faster is, I'm not going to keep the timeline or whatever the case is, but throughout some of the time period, some of the members in WTBD got into it with 360 G's, right? So because I'm a part of WTBD and because we were a small group, of course these people are going to feel some type of way about me because I'm affiliated with them. And I'm not tripping off of that, but I wasn't aware that they had beef or whatever you want to call it, issues, right? So when all of this stuff started taking place, I was like, yo man, why is this dude hating on me? Like, it got to a point to where when Hurricane started calling some of this stuff out, then you start seeing PB start doing a whole bunch of this slick and shady stuff. And it got to a point to where he made this video, and I put it in one of my previous videos where he made this top 10 waivers video. And at the time, he included people that wasn't even waving and doing stuff like that. He was like the top 10 YouTube waivers or some stupid stuff like that, right? So, of course, when people are commenting, hey, yo, man, where is Wavy Crockett? Where is Hurricane Henry? Where is J. Lou? And he's like, oh, I don't even know who those people are. It's like, bro, like you clearly did something stupid like this just to hate on the group. And like I said, I felt before I was on the team, I was cool with everybody. I was chilling, doing my own thing in my own lane. When I joined the group, I inherited all this unnecessary beef and bickering at these dudes doing the pages, not knowing that they all had their own internal reasons and motivations for doing stuff, right? So when it gets to the point to where it got to a point where Wavy Crockett ended up leaving the page. If most of you guys don't know, WRL was a wave page. It's a Facebook wave page called Waves Are Life. He created it. He created WTBD, all that kind of stuff like that, right? If you go back to my old videos, you'll see I always gave him shout outs, salutes, stuff like that. He introduced me to 720 Waves. I was the one that was able to elevate 720 Waves and bring more exposure to it, but I always gave him that respect because that's what I believe in, right? Hurricane was the person that knew a little bit of different things in regards to, how can I say it? It wasn't editing. It was more so concepts, right? So he was the one that was like,
hey, we should do a song concept for this, but have it wave related.
He was the one that came up with that kind of stuff. I was more so the graphics, the visuals person, right? So on Waves of Life, I was known for hosting battles, different events, collages, all that kind of stuff, right? We all contributed something to make WTBD what it was. And that was one reason why we was hated for a very long time period where most people didn't want to be a part of WTBD. We living in an era now to where when I scroll through Instagram, I'm like, damn, it's a whole bunch of people on WTBD now. A lot of people want to be a part of it. But when it comes to the history of the group, people feel as if the recognition and credit should go to one. We all contributed to making it happen. So the reason why I say all of this is when it got to the point to where Ray stepped away from the Facebook pages, he was gone for a long time. I'm not going to get into his personal business. He was gone for a very long time period. Hurricane also decided to step away from the Facebook Wave pages. He was gone for about a year, I think a year and a half. During that time period where both of these guys were gone, they had way more subscribers and everything like that than me. And there's a reason why I'm focused on, because y'all know I don't care about the sub counts and all that stuff like that. When they disappeared, I'm the one that became the admin that kept doing more for the page, to where I took WRL from like 2,000 members to 5,000. Now, nowadays that may not seem like a lot, but back then it was. Because I remember specifically, Hurricane and Ray was somewhere around 5,000 subscribers. I think at the time that I joined WTBD, I only had 100, I think it was like 500 to 1,000 subscribers, right? So I was like the little fish in the pond. By the time they decided to come back, the whole community in WRL, just imagine it. If you leave, but somebody continues to do the things, people gonna start recognizing. I start getting a lot of respect on the page because I started doing stuff. There's a lot of people that do a whole bunch of foolish stuff. I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, bro, I'm here to make it better. Being an admin, I'm not gonna tolerate the foolishness. People like that kind of stuff when you create a page, when you don't allow nonsense to just go on and run amok, right? So I built a lot of respect simply because I was focused on serving people within the community. When these guys decided to come back, they had a sense of entitlement, mainly more so Wavy Crockett, because he felt that because he created the page and he created WTBD, that he deserved that kind of respect and reverence. And it's not to say that I never gave him that or whatever you want to call it. But the reality is the community, when you're gone for almost 2 years, people forget. You know what I'm saying? So when they came back, they start having these little sneak disses. I'm not going to say Hurricane. Ray started having these little sneak disses towards me. And every time I tried to address this dude like a man, it was always like a folding up. Like,
oh, no, I didn't say that.
And he started doing a whole bunch of weird stuff. It got to one point where my brother reached out to me. He was like,
hey, yo, do you know this dude? He keeps sending me requests.
And I'm like, bro, like, what the hell? So I reached out to him. I said, yo, man, leave my family. What are you doing? Why are you trying to add my family? You know what I'm saying? There was a whole bunch of weirdo stuff going on. Fast forward, they're doing this. If you've ever been a part of a wave team, you know that typically, especially now the way that technology is set up, you can go live and there can be multiple people going live and y'all brushing your hair, having brush sessions, talking, communicating, doing all that kind of stuff like that. Back then it wasn't as advanced as it is now, but we still had the opportunity to where we could just be all on audio, be talking while we brushing our hair, talking about the day or whatever the case is, like, hey, I'm trying to work on this, I ain't go da 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 da. If somebody wants to go live and show their face, they could be like, hey, can you help me with this side? All that kind of stuff, right? It got to a point where when I would join the WTBD lives, you know when people were talking about you before you enter the room, when as soon as you enter the room, all of a sudden it gets quiet and there's like this awkward pause. And then somebody tries to switch the conversation to where you know they wasn't talking about that. I'm more of like what you call an empath, right? So I can feel energies. I can tell what's going on. I can discern what is taking place. Thankfully, there were a few members within the group that they didn't do that choosing sides thing, and they would be like,
"Hey, yo, J. Lou, like before you came into the group, they were talking about you. I didn't feel comfortable about it. I didn't say nothing, but they was just talking about you."
And my thing always was like,
yeah, you saying that you're not taking sides, but you also not speaking up and saying why y'all talking about this dude,
right? So imagine being in a group and you finding this stuff out. I start sitting back. I was like,
bro, y'all left. I took the reins. If I would have disappeared and dropped WRL, it would have been gone a long time ago,
right? Y'all left. I did what I needed to do to carry the torch or the flame or whatever you want to call it. When they came back, I was like, look, this is y'all page. I'm not trying to take over this stuff. But because of the bickering and all the little things that they was doing, it got to a point where I said, man, you know what? I made a post on the page. And I was like,
everybody, I'm stepping down from being an admin. I'm falling back into the shadows or something like that. I don't have time for this.
And people in the community was like,
yo, what's going on? Like, why are you stepping back? You the one that's leading it. You the one that's carrying this page. If it wasn't for you, this page would have died.
Right? So fast forward, when all the things start taking place, like I told y'all, when I made the video about the copycat situation, of course I received the response that I did. A lot of people was like,
yo, man, I'm glad that you called this dude out, blah, 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 blah.
People in WTBD was happy about that because they was getting hated on unnecessarily because he had a beef with Wavy Crockett, right? So at that time, a lot of people, that's why the reception was what it was. Everybody's like,
yo, man, I'm glad that you spoke up on this, blah, blah, blah.
When Jeezy spoke up on a situation.
Just want to touch on something that I was seeing last night. There's a video that J. Lou did. He made mention of not trying to be a hater. You know what I mean? He's not a hater. He just don't like his material being stolen. You can't deny PB don't be copying. You can't deny it.
Because he still had things going on with WTBD, it was like he was trying to give me praise or whatever you want to call it. But the people in WTBD felt a certain type of way, and they was like,
oh, that's your homeboy now?
And I sat back and I was like,
yo, what the? Bro, like, just because this dude want to collab with me doesn't mean I want to collab with him.
Right? But that's when I start realizing all of that stuff in the beginning when these people talk about,
oh man, we a brotherhood and we a community and we just a family.
That's when all of that stuff started coming. I was like, bro, they don't mean that. Too many people use and throw around this family and we a brotherhood, but really they just trying to use you, right? I have a lot of skill sets that people, they want to try to benefit off of by saying,
hey bro, can you help me out with this?
And I'm like, dog,
just because we're on a team or just because we cool does not mean I'm gonna be doing stuff for free that I normally would charge people to do.
And that's what it came down to with WTBD is a lot of the things that they wanted me to do, they expected it for free because we on the same team. We a family. We a brotherhood. But when opportunities start coming my way, I start seeing the real, right? So some of you guys that's on teams right now, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you start elevating and when you start doing things, there's people in the groups that feel a certain type of way. So with all of this going on, with the leader of the group gossiping about me, every time I try to address it, he don't want to admit, he don't want to own up to it. Then I got other members feeling some type of way just because for whatever reason, their skills are not the same as mine. And they feel as if the shine that I'm getting is because of a whole bunch of colorist BS, right? One thing that people don't talk about in the wave game is there is a huge sense of colorism. And if you don't know what that is, it's just simply a form of hatred towards somebody because of the color of their skin, right? So me being light-skinned, I remember the first time I became an admin. I don't have the screenshots anymore because I'm removed from that chat. But when you're trying to become an admin on a page, there's typically a discussion. And at the time period, Ray said something along the lines of like,
man, who is this light-skinned think he is?
Blah, 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 right? I overlooked it. I was like, man, that's just how black people talk. At the end of the day, I don't agree with that kind of stuff, but I understand that majority of our people in our community still live with this colorism in their mindset. They still have hatred for somebody just because of the color of their skin. And they think that,
oh, this person think they better than me because...
And I've always approached the game showing love to everybody. I've always given and basically offered things freely, right? So it gets to the point to where all of this colorism stuff going on, people think,
oh man, you think you're better than us because...
They don't want to say it because they know if they say it, it's there in the moment, right? But you know the vibes. So it gets to a point to where I was like, man, you know, what's the point of me being on the team? After I had mentioned I was stepping down from being an admin, it just got greater than that. When it came around the time where Jeezy wanted to work with me and collab with me, it got even worse. There's people on the team that would not be on the team if it wasn't for me saying,
Hey, yo, man, we need to recruit this person.
I reached out to the person.
Hey, are you interested in being on WTBD?
They joined the team because they want to be on the team because somebody else is on there, not knowing the things that I did to advocate for them to get on the team. And they coming at me sideways, coming at me disrespectful. And I sit back and I'm like, bro, I'm doing all of this stuff. And right now, you guys may be wondering,
well, why would you be doing this stuff, J. Lou?
The main point that I'm trying to get to is I work in corporate America. And as if most of you guys already understand, especially if you work in any kind of form of corporate America, right? You don't have to be a CEO, but you can be working in any form of corporate America. You guys know that our white counterparts work with each other, even though they may not like each other. They may hate each other, but they put their differences to the side to be able to work with each other in order to accomplish something greater. Corporate America taught me that. I didn't have a father growing up to be able to teach me these things, but corporate America taught me, don't be so emotional. At the end of the day, whatever the goal is, focus on that. So my mindset with WTBD was, because I'm a loyal person, if I join this team, I want this team to be great. I want this team to do things that other teams wasn't able to do. When it came down to making music and songs and stuff of that nature, my original mindset was like,
all right, I'm going to make the Plain Jane remix and basically put it on for WTBD.
But the ultimate goal is to be able to have a follow-up to that, to where it's not just me and it's somebody else on the team or whatever the case is, and I release it and it builds up more hype when they know that somebody else is going to be on the follow-up version of it or whatever the case is. So that was the original intentions of the Plain Jane remix song, right? When I dropped that song, there was so much envy about the reception that it received, and that certain people was like,
why didn't you put me on this? Or why didn't you do the da-da-da-da-da?
When I saw the response from that was another further validation that these dudes really not in it for the group. They have their own ulterior motives. And what really sealed the deal is it got to a point to where Miz didn't want to put WTBD in his hashtags because of his business, right? But Hurricane wanted him to put WTBD next to his products to, I guess, build brand exposure, whatever the case is. Long story short, he ended up kicking Miz out of the group for something as petty as that.
What kind of shit is that?
Didn't ask anybody in the group. And that right there showed me. I was like, if Miz is disposable in your eyes like this, who else is disposable? And for me, I'm never going to allow somebody to kick me out the group or do whatever they feel. So I said, man, you know what? That wasn't even cool. So I really, in the chats, wasn't saying nothing. I was like, this is foul, bro. Like, Miz is somebody that, when it came to doing things the right way, he's somebody that did things the right way. He got a lot of flack. He built his business from the ground up, though. His business did not take off because of WTBD. He already had everything in line. It was just something along the lines of an affiliation, right? So when that took place, when Hurricane kicked Miz off the team for no absolute reason except for,
I don't like the fact that you're not putting WTBD in the hashtags.
That just showed me. I was like,
I can't build nothing with these individuals.
Because they're going to always feel as if they're owed something. And this is the lesson of this video that I want you guys to understand is, if you're thinking about joining a wave team, you have to understand that people, you may start off with some people, but when you start elevating, and if they don't like the fact that you're elevating more than them, they're going to start feeling some type of way. Or they're going to feel as if they're owed something of your success. So when Brush King started reaching out to me, it was around, I want to say the end, I can't remember what year, but it was like in the fall, winter time. I really That was when I was having a conversation with Brush King, and I was like,
Bro, I'm getting hated on left and right.
he was like,
Man, when you work with me, you really gonna get hated on.
and I said,
Man, you know what? That's cool. I'm used to it.
I said, but long story short, I know what decision I need to make in regards to being on this team. Because I know if I come out and do what I did, they're going to feel like,
Why were we not included?
when the reality is, Brush King made the decision to only work with me. I brought other people up and said, hey,
Hey, well, do you also want to work with these people as well?
he's like,
No, I only want to work with you.
he didn't want to work with no YouTuber that had more subscribers than me. He didn't want to work with no YouTuber that had less. He only wanted to work with me. So I knew by accepting that there would be some issue. That's why I wasn't surprised that whenever I released the Don trailer, all of the people that was quote unquote supporting me and having my back, these YouTubers and all of the people in WTBD, stopped commenting on the videos. They stopped commenting on a whole bunch of other stuff. And I was like, that shows me right then and there exactly what I felt in my spirit, right? And the thing is, I will see things ahead of time. That's one of the superpowers of empaths, or whatever you want to call it. It may not be, it just may be an ability or whatever. But I can sense things before they happen, or I can read people like a book, and people don't like that kind of stuff. So whenever I say something publicly, they'll try to make it seem like I'm lying, but deep down they know it's true. And that's what hurts them the most. So when it came to me leaving WTBD, that was the reason why. Why would you, if you was in my shoes, consider this. Why would you be a part of a team where every single thing that you do is not appreciated unless the person is getting credit for something that you did? Just because Ray created the group does not mean he's owed every single thing that comes out of it, right? Kicking Miz off the team was foul. The other stuff along the lines, that stuff is just petty. It was not even necessary. So I got tired of, I said, man, you know what? I've been taking this corporate mindset and trying to push this up to the side, but I can't grow with these individuals. And some of you guys need to understand that you are a part of teams. You may be a part of groups. You may be a part of circles. They're really cages. They're holding you back. They're keeping you from being able to elevate because now your energy and your time is divided. I remember being on WTBD, they would want to go live and be brushing for hours. And in my head, I'm like, bro, the amount of stuff I can get done in 1 hour, in 2 hours, but y'all want me to brush my head? I'm not doing it, right? I would rather spend that time improving myself, personal development. So that's one thing that you need to consider when if you want to be a part of a team.
What kind of person are you trying to be?
If you are trying to create a platform, if you're trying to create a business, if you're trying to elevate in your life, you have to ask yourself the hard questions of,
If I join a team, will these people be happy for me or will they become envious?
I wish I would have thought about that, but a lot of times people don't think about that. When I started I didn't start my YouTube with the mindset of having a business. As you guys can see, I didn't think I was going to ever have a product, right? That was never the goal. For me, it was simply about getting waves. And a lot of people join the pages for that reason. A lot of people join groups for that reason. But as you grow and as you mature as an individual, of course, there's going to be different things that's going to come across your way that you have to think about, that you probably never thought about in the beginning. So when it came to WTBD, I never had any sour feelings about it. But once I decided to leave WTBD, keep in mind, there's been other people that was a part of the group that have left or whatever the case is. Nobody ever called them out. Nobody ever said nothing about it. As soon as I leave the group, I went to them directly and said,
Yo, I'm leaving the group. I've been trying to address things. People not trying to address it. This is a waste of my time. Salute. I hope nothing but the best for you guys.
that was all that I said. After I left the group, people like Hurricane, people like Ray start coming out saying things publicly, trying to smear my name by saying that I was putting WTBD down, that everything I was doing was to try to destroy WTBD. And I'm sitting back like,
Why would I build something to turn around and destroy it? That is stupid.
I don't like that kind of energy. My mindset is, like I've said from day one, it ain't no point in having elite ways if your lifestyle is not elite. I don't want to get into the business ideas that came up, but one thing I do want to speak on is, before I even started my business, I gave them plenty of ideas of what kind of businesses to start, right? I sat back and I was like, these dudes are not putting the same level of effort in regards to research and trying to find things out, to figure out what can we do to get products up off the ground. They were just trying to copy and mimic what other people were doing. They saw that somebody created a brush. Oh, well, I want to do the same thing, without knowing the level of effort that it takes to be successful. For me, I've had the opportunity to go through the hardships in life to know and learn these things. To say, I'm not about to spend 6 hours brushing my hair. I'd rather spend 15 minutes and then spend the rest of that time researching, developing, buying books, taking classes, whatever, investing into myself. So ultimately, the reason why I left the group is because there was a difference in regards to values. So if you are considering joining the group, I wanted to make this video so you guys keep that in mind. I never bashed WTBD. So there's so many songs that I had to just throw in the trash. There's songs on my YouTube channel that you guys are like,
yo man, when is this coming out?
Y'all didn't know that that song was supposed to be featuring somebody else within the group. And I had my part done. When somebody said,
hey, this is an idea,
boom, I'm recording it, getting it done, right? I've been sitting on songs for years. I've been sitting on video concepts for years, waiting on other people. And I got to the point where I said,
Man, I'm not waiting on nobody else.
like I said, sometimes your circle is really a cage. When I decided to leave WTBD, everything started taking off. When I decided to start doing the Brush King reviews, my channel's growth started going up, right? I was able to focus all my energy. I didn't have to worry about,
I gotta talk to this person, I gotta talk to this person,
I was able to focus on video concepts, video ideas, and everything of that nature. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because I owe this to you guys as an explanation, because I mentioned it in the Truth About the Wave Game video the first time. But I want you guys to understand these things. I make these Truth About the Wave Game videos as life lessons, things that I wish somebody would have told me when I joined the Wave community. Because a lot of this stuff continues to happen because nobody wants to speak up on it. But the reality is, I always speak up so other people can learn, or if there's something I'm doing that's not right, it can be challenged and we can get better as a community. But it gets to a point to where no matter how much positive stuff that you do, it will never work and you have to leave the community. And that's where I'm gonna get into on the reason why I left the Facebook Wave pages. But I'm gonna make that a separate video. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you add it to a playlist if you need to come back and check it out. With these videos, I try to share real life gems to help you out, because it may be the truth about the Wave game, but the Wave game is a reflection of the real world. This stuff will happen to you at work. You will have work groups that you're a part of, and people will feel some type of way about you elevating within a company and try to throw you under the bus. All of these things that I go through is just a share so you don't have to go through it, or if you go through it, you already know the game. I wish somebody would have told me the game in the beginning, but I don't cry over spilled milk, and y'all gonna learn that in the second follow-up video. After I get these 2 videos done, then I'm gonna get back to making the regular content. Y'all just stay tuned for the next video. It's your boy J. Lou. Salute.
Now when it come to getting waves, they call me the Don. A light-skinned legend cause I shine like the sun. I brush them to the left, I brush them to the right. But if I had to talk down, I'ma knock them out of sight. Never chasing the bag, but I stay getting paid. And I don't need a do-rag to keep my waves laid.